Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to a Bayou Bets Monday, September the 25th, 2023. We're going to do our best not to get too PO during the show. We're going to be happy. It's going to be fun. And who am I kidding? The Saints lost yesterday by a score of 18-17. We're going to be doing a whole lot of talking about that as we show you what's going on today. How much time will Derek Carr miss? We've got some word from our insiders that we're going to share with you in just a little bit. How did the betting market react to the New Orleans Saints? Where are they now in Super Bowl odds? Where are they in win totals? We're going to get into that when we talk about the Saints. Also, LSU is heading to Oxford to face Ole Miss, a big weekend of college football as well. LSU-Ole Miss, a big game. What is the spread on that game? We're going to talk about it. And then Spencer and I also are going to talk about tonight, Monday Night Football, another doubleheader, Eagles and Bucks, Rams and Bengals. Spence, we got a lot to talk about. What's going on?
Yeah, we sure do, Jim. Yeah, I'm excited, man. It sucks to see what happened yesterday. I was thinking I was going to have to eat crow because I had predicted the Saints loss, up 17-0 at half. Well, my prediction's wrong, but at least Saints fans will be happy. But I saw it coming, though, in the second half when Carr went down. I was like, uh-oh. And then sure enough, it unraveled, and Jordan Love really caught fire at the end. Hats off to him for playing well. And the Saints defense, you can't blame them too much because the offense did them no favors in the second half. And, yeah, there's only so much they can do. 18 points, nothing to sneeze at. But, yeah, unfortunately, just a little bit short.
Let's get it right into it because I don't think I could disagree with more than what you just said.
All right. Let's get it on.
We're going to start with Derek Carr. I think them losing had zero, and I mean zero, to do with Derek Carr going out. Obviously, you don't want your star quarterback to go out, so that sucks. The fact that he's going to be gone for a little bit of time. Again, we're going to talk about what I talked to one of our insiders today and what I am hearing. I'll get to that in just a minute. But the defense, yeah, sure, they stunk. They shouldn't have allowed 18 points in that fourth quarter. But they weren't good before then. I just because they had allowed 0 points, I thought they were terrible. I thought the Saints as a whole were awful all day yesterday. I said in my podcast, if you before the 18 points, if on a scale of 1 to 10, I graded the Saints as about a 3. I mean, the score was completely misleading of how close that game was. I mean, Jordan Love was terrible before he caught fire to me in the fourth quarter and he got hot. But the Saints offense, other than Alontae Taylor, I thought was bad. They couldn't get any kind of pass rush going. They couldn't get in there in Jordan Love. They were allowing A.J. Dillon to do things that he hadn't done in the first 2 games of the season. I just thought they played poorly as a whole. And I don't think Derek Carr actually played that well either. But the offensive line is the number one thing that we got to talk about today. And, you didn't bring that up, so I can't say I disagree with everything because I can't imagine you're going to disagree with me on the fact that the O-line might be one of the worst in the NFL.
Well, it's not good, but I'll have to push back a little bit on that. Derek Carr's got to not hold on to the ball for so long, especially on the hit in which he got injured. I know the O-line's not great, but that's something he's been kind of struggling with. And Jameis Winston, too. I mean, you've got to – and that's not just their fault. Also, Pete Carmichael. I blame a lot of this on Pete Carmichael as far as you got to design some quicker plays. If you know your O-line stinks, you got to design more quick passes. And hopefully with Alvin Kamara back this week, they can do that because it's just, taking 12 sacks now on the season. That's ridiculous.
I had this debate with someone on Twitter earlier today. He's throwing in 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I don't know how much faster you want him to go. Unless you want him to just take the snap and throw all in one motion, I don't know how much faster he can go. So, I don't disagree with you. I think Pete Carmichael had his worst game of the year yesterday. What I don't understand is the fact that, Taysom Hill ran all over Carolina 2 nights ago, and he refuses to use Taysom Hill 2 games in a row. It's not just yesterday, but all of last year as well. Taysom Hill would have a great game, and then he would be nowhere to be found in the next game. It's almost like, I'm going to outsmart you outsmarting me. I don't understand what he's trying to do there. It makes no sense to me whatsoever that they wouldn't use Taysom Hill. He ran the ball 4 times yesterday. He had 1 catch as well. I don't know where Taysom Hill was yesterday, but he wasn't on the field nearly enough. So Pete Carmichael keeps trying to outsmart himself, and he is outsmarting himself. Just keep it simple, stupid. The old KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. It's not that hard to figure out. Use Taysom Hill. There's a reason why he rushes for so many yards every time he's in there. But no, They want to get cute, and it cost them yesterday a lot more than a football game.
Yeah, especially when your running backs have been struggling as bad as they have been. No Saints running back has had over 50 yards this season, and that's a
That's
problem.
insane.
Through 3 games. I mean, Jamal Williams, well, he got hurt the second game, but first game struggled. Kendre Miller back this week didn't do a whole lot. Had a lot of Tony Jones, and we know how that we've seen that act before. That's not what you want as your starting running back. So yeah, Saints running game has got to get solved, and so Alvin Kamara is going to have a big workload on his hands this Sunday because the guys filling in for him did terrible job.
That's definitely true. Look, anybody who's blaming anyone else, but if you want to blame Pete Carmichael a little bit and throw Dennis Allen in there, fine. I don't have a problem with that a little bit for some of the play calling and what Spencer was talking about earlier and what I said about Taysom Hill. That's fine. But to me, really, the offensive line deserves 85 to 90% of the blame. I've been saying for 6 weeks now, they're going to get Derek Carr killed. They didn't get him killed, but they got him a separated AC joint, and it's not good. It's not going to be any better for Jameis Winston either if they don't start protecting the football. And I said this morning on the podcast that Trevor Penning, I had to give him a little bit of an apology because it wasn't Trevor Penning yesterday. But Trevor Penning actually played a decent game. The left side of the line as a whole, I thought, played a decent game. Andrews Pete was back in there. I thought he did a good job when he went in there. It was the right side of the line that got blown up. James Hurst, when he moved to right guard, because Cesar Ruiz got hurt. And Ryan Ramczyk was getting blown up. He couldn't block you or me yesterday. I don't know what's going on with Ryan Ramczyk, but he was not very good yesterday. And to be honest, Spencer, he hasn't been very good all year.
And that's a major problem if he's not himself, because that was the one piece you could count on every year to always be reliable, play all the games, and perform at a high level. So, yeah, if he's slipping a bit, then, this could be beyond just a temporary issue. This could be a season-long issue. And if it becomes a season-long issue, then, this team's not going to – I predicted 9 games, and I'm going to stick to that even with the Carr injury and the poor O-line. I feel like the defense is still good enough, and the receiving core is talented. Kamara will be back. But there's a lot of issues, though, so this is a wake-up call.
All right, let's get into Derek Carr and the injury itself. And what I'm hearing from the insiders. Had a little chat with one of our team today. And I don't really want them to have to go on the record or talk about what I've been hearing. But it sounds like the Saints are a bit more optimistic about Derek Carr's injury. And, the interesting thing about it, Spencer, I was watching the Red Zone channel, and I had no idea that that's even what it was. I thought the way he went down and the way they carted him off and took him right to the blue tent, I was thinking that it was potentially a concussion, which isn't good. But if you have a concussion, the chances are you'll be back. You maybe miss a week. You'll be back week after that. And then you start hearing about the potential of the shoulder injury. And then when they took him to the hospital, I'm like, oh, my goodness, this is way worse. So I had no idea that it was that severe. And then you see Ian Rappaport talking about, well, it's not season ending. Well, the fact that it could have been season ending is scary enough in itself. So, it could have been a whole lot worse, it sounds like. But the gist that I'm getting from the insiders, the fact they're optimistic, it's sounding more and more. And again, this is speculation. This is nothing from the team. This is nothing official, but it's sounding like it's a grade 2 sprain / separation, which would mean 2 to 4 weeks. And so if that is the case, if it's 2 to 4 weeks, then you can live with that. You miss anywhere, even if you have to miss 4 games on the worst side of things there, that is definitely a plus. Because if it's a grade 3 tear, then you're talking 6 to 10 weeks, and that's most of the season. If it's on the latter end. So that's a scary proposition too. So if it's 2 to 4 weeks, you can live with that.
Right. Yeah, definitely dodged a bullet there, because any more than that, it's like you don't want more than 2 to 4 weeks of Jameis. He's not the worst thing in the world, but he's just not someone you can rely upon for an extended amount of time. So yeah, exactly. Derek Carr has just got more upside, better decision maker. So yeah, he should be back though. And as long as the Saints can go, he'll probably, if I had to guess, miss the 4 weeks. I wouldn't think they'll try to rush him back, but it's one of those things, like as long as they can go 2-2 in that stretch, assuming he misses all 4, then you just got to hope you can tread water, because this division, to me, it's still very much for the taking. Tampa Bay tonight has a chance to take control. I don't see that happening. So, yeah, I'm with Travis. I think the Saints will be fine.
I just have, this is from our preview, so I'm just going to throw the schedule up here just to show you what we're talking about. So obviously Tampa Bay next week, and then you continue your 4 out of 5 stretch on the road at New England, at Houston. I said before the Tennessee game, before they even started this thing, if you could find a way to go 4-2 in that opening stretch, because that 4 out of 5 game, I don't care who you're playing. You're playing 4 out of 5 games on the road. That is tough. They still have a decent chance, I think, Spencer, to go 4-2 in that opening stretch. If there's any way you get Derek Carr back for the Thursday night Jacksonville game on the 19th, or even at Indianapolis on the 29th, because you might even think that Sunday and then Thursday, that's a tough turnaround. You may just say, you know what, we're not going to chance it and just wait till October the 29th and give them a full month to heal. But looking at this schedule, if you can go 4-2 going into that Jacksonville game on a Thursday night, you're in really good shape.
Oh yeah, very good shape. If so, I think that road back-to-back road trip's going to be tough though, at New England and at Houston. I mean, Houston made a statement yesterday against Jacksonville. C.J. Stroud looking the part as a rookie, and we know with Bill Belichick, New England's never an easy win. So I don't know; those could be a little treacherous there. And so, I mean, Carr could be back probably at the earliest would be for that Houston game.
Yeah, that's all
but
right.
yeah, I wouldn't really expect that though. So I still think even with Jameis, so let's see, Coop is coming to Jameis' defense there.
Yeah, I've been the biggest Jameis defender, I think, on any airwave anywhere. So I'll take this question. What can Derek Carr do in this offense that Jameis Winston can't? Be accurate. Number one, there's no question that Derek Carr is more accurate than Jameis Winston. I think even Jameis Winston would probably tell you that. That being said, I don't think there's a huge drop-off. There is a drop-off, though. I mean, there's a reason why you spent $160 million for Derek Carr. So if you don't think there's a major drop-off between Derek Carr and Jameis Winston, you're a little cray. I'm just going to say that, okay? Again, $40 million against $7 million a year. There's a reason why that is the case. And Nathaniel's saying that Winston's numbers were better last year at Tampa Bay than Carr's numbers last year with the Raiders. You're comparing apples to elephant turds. I mean, seriously, that's not even a comparison. You can't compare what Jameis did with this team to what Derek Carr did with the Raiders. I mean, you think the Saints line is bad? Last year, the Raiders line was worse than the Saints line is this year. That's not good. I did not type this up, Chloe. Chloe. I called you Chloe again. Zoe. I did not type this up. Winston isn't Fields, so there's that. We're going to get into the Bears because there's, to me, Spencer, one of the most interesting, and I'm not joking at all when I say this. One of the most interesting games in the NFL is going to be played at Soldier Field this Sunday. I'm not exaggerating. And I'd like to, you know what? Maybe I wonder if Zoe, would you come on? Shake your head. No, yes. She's saying no. She won't come on to talk about it. I'm not kidding. I'm going to be watching that game for sure. But we're going to talk about that in a little while. All right. Next thing we want to have to talk about here is if you look at the Saints futures, I put them on the screen. This is after Derek Carr's injuries. To win the Super Bowl, the Saints had dropped to as low as plus 2,800 last week, Spencer. And I think it's interesting that they're basically back where they started. Also, the NFC South numbers are basically back where they started. All these numbers are almost the same as they were had they not even played a game. So what this is telling us is the odds makers in Vegas they're not changing their opinion all that much on this team. And Thomas Casale was kind of telling us this in pre-production. The people that he knows, the big bettors that he knows, the people in Vegas that he knows, they're saying this team isn't that much different. Their odds aren't all that much different. Just even though Derek Carr could miss a month of the season.
Yeah, I think though it is a time to get the Saints at a value because those numbers had gone more in the direction of there's a consensus favorite or now the division looks more wide open. So if you believe that Carr will be back within a month, then to me, take advantage of this because I don't see a drop-off being enough. I don't think the Saints will lose all the games under Jameis. Like I think Jameis is still an upper-tier backup. I mean,
upper-tier, I think I think he might be the best backup in the league.
Yeah, possibly. I mean,
what would the Jets do to have Jameis Winston?
Right? Yeah, tell that to my dad. He keeps wanting to hope that Zach Wilson will make Garrett Wilson fantasy relevant. But I'll just say, you got to just let that shit sail. But anyway, yeah, this is a chance, especially to win the South. I like that plus 130 number.
I do too. And I look, my opinion really hasn't changed all that much because of what I said before. Again, to me, there's a fairly significant drop off from Derek Carr to Jameis Winston. However, the way this team plays, I think I'm not going to say as good, but I don't think it makes all that much difference as far as their odds to win the NFC South at plus 130. I think that's still a good number. So I'm with you there. And not only that, the other two teams that are up there and have a chance right now, I think they still stink. I know you and I disagree on Atlanta, but I think Atlanta stinks too. Carolina's now 0-3. When you're 0-3, you're basically done or pretty
they're
close to
they're
done. You can't start 0-3, especially in this division, start 0-3. That's a whole nother story. Did y'all, by any chance, watch Andy Dalton yesterday? Yeah, he lost again.
Red Rifle.
Red Rifle.
It's better than Bryce Young, but still not
lost
that
again.
good.
He lost again. All right, we are going to come back to the Saints because we're going to finish this up with – I want to talk about Monday Night Football, but I also want to incorporate and talk a little bit about this Week 4 game coming up because it kind of goes together. The Bucs are going to be playing on a short week against the Saints this coming week. Baker Mayfield coming to the Dome. So he plays at home against the defending NFC champions, and then he gets to come to the Dome and play the Saints after they've had 2 weeks away. That's an interesting proposition to me. But we do need to talk about LSU a little bit, and we're just going to throw Tulane on the screen for a minute. LSU, to me, one of the biggest games of the year, maybe the second biggest game of the year. Obviously, Alabama's the biggest game of the year. They already lost to Florida State, so not even talking about that. That's in the rearview mirror. But if you're looking ahead to what's left, to me, this can kind of set a tone for the next month, Spencer. If they can win this game, I think they're better than Florida. I know they got Florida coming up before too long. I think they're in good shape to get into that Alabama game with just one loss if they can find a way to win at Ole Miss where they're 2.5-point favorites.
Right, yeah, it's a huge one for LSU, and I feel like they're in really good position the way their offense is going. Unless Ole Miss's defense can make a big statement, I don't see Jackson Dart and the Ole Miss offense coming anywhere close here. Their defense is going to have to play well. I mean, the Alabama game was fairly low scoring, but Jackson Dart fell flat. Jackson Dart so far in his career has not come up big in big moments. I look back last year against LSU, he was awful. I mean, Jaden Daniels wiped the floor with him. So, I mean, yeah, this is one of those deals to where unless Jackson Dart shows me something, I feel like LSU is a really good value. Like, I feel like they're the better team. And even though they're on the road, I feel like they'll win this by double digits unless a bunch of fluky things happen.
I would like to see if Zoe would let me put her on the air. I would ask her, who's better, Jackson Dart or Justin Fields? I mean, it's a fair question, right?
No. And JJ, to be fair, LSU's defense was pathetic, but Jackson Dart as a passer has been pretty pathetic when facing tough competition. And we'll see. LSU's going to have to do better, but I think they will.
I kid because I love LSU's definitely going to have to play better than they played this past Saturday because they did not play well against Arkansas. Actually, they're very lucky to get out of that game with a win. Completely lucky. They're going to have to play much better. You see the standings on the board. There's just not a lot of SEC games yet. Alabama, they beat Ole Miss this past week. Spence, I wasn't that impressed by either team, to be honest. Yeah, Alabama goes back to Milroe, but he didn't get anything going into the second half. And when you get stifled by Ole Miss's defense, you might have a problem.
Right, yeah, so it could be a little tricky. Another thing, though, I think LSU may have been looking ahead here.
Yeah,
I mean, they were a big favorite in this game, so I think they were kind of looking ahead to Ole Miss because, I mean, Jackson Dart as a whole probably is better than KJ Jefferson. LSU's defense made KJ Jefferson look way better than he really is. So, yeah, they're going to have to step up here, and they better hope that was just a look-ahead slip-up. But, I mean, we saw that with Florida State.
They've had trouble with KJ Jefferson before, so that's not anything new. I think I don't know if it's his style of play or whatever, but LSU had trouble with KJ Jefferson last year.
Well, the year before, he didn't play last year.
Year before. Yeah. You're right, year before. I get him all mixed up. Uncle Big Nick says LSU over all day. You know what? That's too easy. I mean, I'm not saying don't play it because I'm not going to have any recommendation on that game. I may tell you what I think when we get closer on Thursday, but that just doesn't that seem too easy? LSU over 64.5 after they played a 65-point game with Arkansas.
Yeah, I think if Ole Miss has any hope here, it's their defense. So if anything, I might take the under. Not that I'm going to pick Ole Miss, but I think they'll at least keep it somewhat competitive.
JJ's asking for a UBN to come back on the show. You can watch Datitude. Datitude on Thursday. UBN and I will be together, and we'll make our best bets of the week. Uncle Big Nick is beating me this week, so he's having a good week. I might have to wear the turkey hat. I don't know. We'll see. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have to come around Thursday. The loser of our Big Bucks weeks has to wear a turkey hat because we're the turkey of the week. And right now, I'm leading. I need the Eagles tonight. We'll get to that in a minute when we get to our Monday Night Football segment. That is coming up very shortly. Very quickly, Spencer, just want to touch on Tulane to give them a fair shake. They easily beat Nicholls State. That score is misleading. They could have done whatever they want. They only threw for 258 yards. They rushed for 150. Again, the Wave defense, they only allowed 25 yards rushing 2 weeks ago. This week they allowed 62 to Nicholls. Look, Tulane is on a roll. They're 21.5 point favorites against UAB. And if you want to force me to take something, I would probably take Tulane.
Yeah, I mean, it's not one I'm going to go running a bet, but
exactly.
It's just, because I mean, you never know what a backdoor cover might come up. But if you knew Tulane was going to play the starters all the way, this one they'd win by 28 plus, I'd say. So if you feel like I hope here will be if UAB could get an early touchdown or two, and then have Tulane keep the starters in longer.
That's if you bet UAB. If you bet UAB, I'm not going to bet UAB.
Yeah,
the Fighting Trent Dilfers, they are 1-3 coming into this game. Their only win is coming against North Carolina A&T. Although they did play Georgia better than probably most people expected. I think the final score last week was 49-21 against Georgia, but you can't imagine Georgia's heart was in that game either.
No, because they got steamrolled by my Raging Cajuns.
There you go.
Cajuns threw a little monkey wrench there. Well, not that they intended on it, but their quarterback got hurt, and it turned out the freshman backup was, in my opinion, better, Zion Chris.
Yep.
And so then UAB just didn't know what to do at that point. They didn't have any film on Zion.
All right, we got about 7-8 minutes left in the show. I want to go back to the NFL and talk a little bit about Monday Night Football and how this relates to the Saints as well. We already have a question out there. I will throw it out if I can click on the right thing. I'm calling Zoe Chloe. I can't click on a darn thing tonight. Do you think Joe Burrow plays tonight? And what do you think? I'll let you answer that first, Spencer.
Yeah, I just had the update from Zach Taylor. Didn't really say anything. He said it's going to be a true game time decision. And they did, though, elevate the quarterback from the practice squad. So that kind of tells me that he's not going to play. I just don't think they're going to want to rush him back here. I know it's a big game for him being that they're 0-2. But at home, I think they're going to sit him down and play it safe and hope their defense steps up.
I don't think they have any room to play anything safe. I really don't. You're 0-2. You got to win this game, and the Rams have been much better than all but one person, at least on this panel, has thought. I don't know where. Oh, okay. Here I am. I'm right here. All right. I go back and see what I said. I said it on camera about a month ago. I said I thought the Rams were going to be a surprise. They're playing much better. It's because their defense is playing much better, and people forget how good Matt Stafford actually was when he was able to have some time to throw the ball. What's this kid's name? Puka what?
Puka Nacua.
This kid is taking the league by storm. I think they said he was third all-time NFL history, most catches through 2 games. He's got 25 catches, or 23 catches over 2 games. Spencer, he's just behind Michael Thomas. I can't remember who number 2 was, but that's insane. So, I mean, this kid coming out of nowhere with Cooper Kupp being injured, he's coming taking the league by storm.
Yeah, he's been amazing, PPR fantasy gold. I wish I had him in more leagues. I picked him up in a few. I wish I'd have been on his hype train in the offseason. I didn't realize how talented that kid was as far as just being able to get open like that. I mean, I'm sure he's running a lot of short routes, but he's gaining yards, and you got to get open. I mean, people make fun of Michael Thomas, call him slant boy, but he was moving the chains. I mean, you can't bat an eye at that. So, Puka kid's amazing.
Call me that again, Spencer. Call me that again.
Right, if they get Cooper Kupp back, then you might be right about the Rams, Jim. This offense with a healthy Stafford, healthy Kupp, and this Puka kid, they could be a wild card team for sure.
Yeah, because too bad they don't know how to beat the Niners. Even when they were a Super Bowl team, they didn't know how to beat the Niners. Puka over or under 5.5 catches. That's what his number is.
Shoot, I'll take the over. I mean, he's at double digits the first 2 weeks. I think he was a little banged up, but he was also a little banged up last week with just some maintenance related issues, probably because he's been playing so much. But I think he's here to stay. I think he'll catch. I don't think he'll catch 10 again. I think he'll catch like 8. I'll go with 8.
That's a scary bet because sounds like a Mabel kind of bet, doesn't it? How can you not bet over in that? I mean,
yeah,
you either have to bet over or nothing.
Yeah, they must think it's one of those things where the Bengals are just going to really key in on this kid, which they very well might. I mean, I think the Bengals defense is going to be kind of an ugly game, even if Burrow plays.
I
think
an
the under.
Yeah, I like the under too. All right, my picks tonight are, first off, one of my best bets of the week, and I haven't been very good this week, but first off, that kind of gets into our next little tiny quick segment here, our lightning round segment, because we're going to end the show with Saints Bucks and talk about that for about a minute or two before we go off the air. But the officiating, we had a things that make you go segment last week when we're talking about the Niners and the Rams and the unnecessary field goal to cover. We also talked about Denver on a 2-point conversion, a no pass interference call with an obvious pass interference. Spencer, there was something similar, I thought, yesterday in the Ravens-Colts game in overtime, an obvious, incredibly obvious pass interference penalty that if the Ravens were to get that on that 4th down play, I think they're probably like 85% to win because they're only like 5 yards out of automatic Justin Tucker range. And he probably could have kicked it from there because it was about the 40-yard line. Instead, they don't call it. The ball gets turned over on downs. Colts go down and kick it. Things that make you go,
Yeah, so every week, though, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast with NFL officiating. It's just it's too hard of a game to officiate. The speed of the game gets faster every year, like we were discussing in the pre-production. So it's just, if anything, it's just going to get worse. So I hate to say it, but I don't see it getting any better anytime soon unless they get more AI involved to help these officials out.
They may, who knows? But you know what? I watched a lot of USFL and XFL games. I'm not just saying this. The way they did officiating in both of those leagues, which was very similar in both leagues, was incredibly superior to what the NFL doing. And it had a lot of NFL people in it. So I don't know why they can't incorporate this stuff. I don't know why you do this stuff in the USFL and the XFL, and then you completely ignore it in the NFL. Bring it over. I want complete transparency, too, when you're talking about instant replays. You ought to be able to instant replay stuff like pass interference, especially in the final minute or minute and a half. I understand you don't want to do it throughout, and it can extend the game longer than it needs to be extended, but there needs to be things put in place to where things like that can't happen because that was clear and obvious. And, of course, I'm more pissed because it affected one of my best bets, but I was just as aggravated about it. I thought it was kind of funny because it happened to Sean Payton 2 weeks ago, but it was still just as aggravating that they can't get those things right. It really insane. We're going to talk about the Denver Broncos, and Williams is asking, do I think Sean Payton regrets a return to the NFL after an 0-3 start, 70-20 beatdown? When you score 20 points, Spencer, and you lose by 50, you got a problem.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think Vance Joseph might end up fired, like straight up. I mean, Sean Payton's not a very patient guy. I think
he might get fired today.
Yeah, so it's like I think it might give him one more week. But if they lose to the Bears, then yeah, they're cleaning house over there.
There you go. That's what we call a segue in the business, boys and girls. One of the most intriguing games of the season is this Sunday in Soldier Field. The Denver Broncos, who are 0-3 and lost by 50 points on the road yesterday, are going on the road again this week and are 3.5-point favorites in Chicago. I make a lot of jokes and I try to get at Zoe a little bit just about Justin Fields, but I don't understand that line at all. There is no way on God's green earth. And I'm not telling you I'm going to bet the Bears because they burned me last week and I'm pissed at them, but there ain't no way the Broncos should be 3.5-point favorites on the road.
Yeah, I think there's some value with the Bears. I think this could be the week Justin Fields gets back right. I know he struggled, but Russell Wilson had been a whole lot better. So I think there could be a little bit of value there with the Bears.
Hell raise rods with the Broncos. I don't believe that for 1
Russ
second.
Is trash.
No, I ain't buying that for 1 second. All right, before we finish up with Saints and Bucks and talk a little bit about next week, and I mean for like 1 minute, I got to bring this up, mostly because I was forced to bring it up, okay? But however, we're going to bring it up anyway. The dumbest thing that I saw yesterday, and I mean the dumbest thing I saw all I care about is football. I want to watch football. I'm watching this Chiefs game, Chiefs and Bears. Do I have to see Taylor Swift every other second? I
Yes, you
don't
do.
give a damn about Taylor Swift. I don't care if she's dating Travis Kelce. I don't care if they're talking on the phone. I don't care if they're texting late at night and they're in that goo goo gaga phase. I really don't care, and it doesn't have anything to do with football. Can we stop talking about it now?
Well, you better hope they break up, because if not, you'll be hearing a lot more about it. Because this is it's just the beginning of it. So if they stay together, she's gonna be at all the Chiefs games, and that's gonna be all the buzz. So just buckle up.
Well, I guess if she's at the game, El Ray was talking about it before. You got to bet Kelce to score a touchdown on the player prop. Patrick Mahomes is going to throw him a touchdown because he never throws him a touchdown any other time. If Taylor Swift's at the game, he's going to score because he can't score if Taylor Swift's not there, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Let's finish up the show talking about the Saints. Saints-Bucks this weekend. Like we said, I thought it was interesting, these future bets, plus 3,500 to win the Super Bowl, exactly where it was a few weeks ago before they even played a game. When the NFC South is actually up a little bit, plus 130. I think it was somewhere around plus 110, somewhere around that. Saints-Bucks this weekend. I think we are going to learn a lot about these Saints this weekend. I'm not ready to make the prediction just yet because I want to see how I don't believe the Bucks are for real, by the way. I love the Eagles tonight. I said this. It's not. I got it at -5, but I love the teaser, by the way. I love Eagles and Bengals teaser. Eagles plus 0.5 and Cincy +3 on a teaser tonight. But I think we find out who the Bucks really are tonight, and I think it's not good, just like we found out about some other teams. But I think the Saints are going to be in a really pissed off mood at the Dome next week. I like the Saints next week.
Yeah, I like them too right now, because I feel like last year Jameis struggled in this matchup home against the Bucks, but I just don't see that happening again. And another thing, last year Kamara was out for that game, so that probably had a little something to do with his struggles. And now Kamara will be back. So.
You remember Mark Ingram fumbled on like the 5 or 10 yard line, and that started Winston's turnover spell.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember it was brutal. So yeah, this is a big one here. This is one that could be. It's too early to call a game a must win, but definitely a season defining contest here in week 4.
It's going to be fun. We're going to talk more about it on Thursday when Thomas Casale comes on. And we have our Big Bucks segment. Let me see. Hang on. Oh, no. Here it is. Just in case, I got it ready. I got the turkey hat. Gobble, gobble. If I need it, it's here. Hopefully
Turkey in a week. Turkey in a week.
It might be. I don't know. It might be the Bucks. If the Bucks can come through for them tonight. Before we go off, El Ray says Jameis's struggles are related to Jameis's decision making. I don't know if I don't think I'm ready to disagree with that yet. But he has some moments when he's really, really good too. Terry says she won the predictions last week against the Panthers Saints. What's her award? Your award is that you're mentioned on this show, Terry Fields. We give you a big thumbs up, and I might have to wear a turkey hat. That's a pretty good award to see if I might have to wear a turkey hat. That's pretty good. All right, Spence, any final thoughts? Oh, Zoe said she'll bake your cookies. Zoe's going to bake your cookies. Okay.
Nice. Let's see. My final thought of this. Let's just sit back and watch Baker Mayfield crash and burn tonight.
Oh, God, I hope so. Wouldn't that be great? All right. That is going to do it. We will have Bayou Bets will be back on Thursday. Again, Thomas Casale and I will be talking about all the things that are going on next weekend. Then all 4 of us, it'll be me, it'll be Spencer, it'll be Thomas, it'll be Gabe. I don't know if Zoe's going to be in the background. She's worked like 142 days in a row, so I don't know if she's here or not Thursday, but we'll have to wait and see. Also, Datitude, Uncle Big Nick will be back with me Thursday morning as we do our best bets of the week. I'm sure he'll be gloating because he finally won a week. He's all thrilled. He's all excited that he finally beat me for a week. I'm sure he'll be gloating on Thursday. And then Friday, it's coming up. Datitude with me and Larry Holder. It is another fun-filled week. Saints are taking on the Bucks. LSU taking on Ole Miss. Tulane taking on UAB. We know you'll be back for the ride, and we'll have more information on Derek Carr, I'm sure, by Thursday. Our Saints Insiders crew is all over it. Make sure you watch their podcast as well on the Saints YouTube channel. For Spencer the Guru Urquhart, for Zoe, don't call her Chloe Collins Wrath, I am Jim Derry. We will talk to you on Thursday. Have a good time watching Monday Night Football, everybody.